Friday, January 24th. You're with Lori Dubose as we welcome Johnny John, formerly Johnny Jeremy. You may recognize his name and voice as working here on the radio with us on WABF. Good morning.
Good morning. Top of the morning. Yeah, the name thing, it's always confusing to me. I'm trying to get it worked out, but, I do the best I can.
Well, I remember when I first started in radio. You don't want to know how many years ago that was. They said, well, what do you want to call yourself? I'm like, well, I'm Lori. I'm Lori Dubose. That's my birth name. And I don't know how to call myself anything else. Right. And they're like, well, okay, just go unlisted. Because back then, there were phone books and listings. So that's what I did. But most people in radio have a different name. Sure. A radio name. Right. So understand.
Something with some alliteration usually. It seems to be something with a little alliteration to it. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so that's kind of where the Johnny John or the Johnny Jeremy or Johnny whatever. Anyway, because, I guess it all comes to coming up with some sort of public persona, right?
Right. And see, I'm me. I just couldn't.
That's right.
I didn't know how to be anybody else. So.
Right.
Okay, so we're here today because you actually made your own CD.
Yeah, this is the second EP I made.
What does EP mean?
Extra play. It's
extra play.
Extra play. Instead of your full-length LP, your long player, you got a little EP, just like a little 3-song, 4-song thing.
I see. Okay.
Instead of like the full contracted time. I can't remember how much the legal definition of an LP is. It's something like a certain number of minutes, but an EP is like a shorter version of that. So
I see.
So I've done, this is the second one, to follow up to last year's Let There Be Drums. This is called Against Nature. And,
but let's back up. You're a drummer.
Right.
And you're in a band called the Funk House Fever Trio?
Well, that's just a little money gig that I do on the side, just kind of a bar band, little pickup gigs. I play with other people too. But this is more of just like a project for, just writing songs, the creative aspect. This stuff, the only time it'll ever be played live usually is on original showcases with other bands that are playing original music, stuff like that. So that's pretty much where this came from.
So we just logged on to johnnyjohnmusic.com, right. And those at home are welcome to do the same, johnnyjohnmusic.com.
Right, and it has all the social links up there. You got your Facebook there, and right next to that is the YouTube, where you can listen to the songs on there.
That's that YouTube right there?
Yep. And, the EP is available also here in town. I think one of our great...
Dr. Music.
Dr. Music, that's right. One of the record stores here.
He did our only local record store, FYI.
There he is.
He did our Christmas promotion with us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Cool deal. Yeah, but the tracks are all on there. It's also on iTunes and Spotify and stuff like that. But
now, your music is not exactly our format.
No, it isn't.
But we're going to play a snippet of it. But I think part of the reason that we wanted to have you here this morning was to find out, how does one go about doing this, self-releasing their own CD?
Well, it's a long process. Last year, when I put out my first EP, my first record, I started up an LLC and started up a business. And with that business, I was able to, sort of come up with kind of the legal format to sort of release music and to work with the different production companies and with the different recording studios. And I've even used it to sort of do sync licenses and stuff like that. If you want to pitch your song, you kind of have to have a legal entity for them to go to interact with. And I decided to go that route instead of doing business as. So that was the first part. The second part was just booking studio time. And with this release, I did all the instruments. I played everything, the guitars, the vocals. I wrote all the songs, played the drums.
Oh, you're your own Prince.
There
here.
You go.
Wow.
Written, produced, performed, and arranged. The last one, I had some other players come in and play on the record, but this one was all done solo. I recorded most of it at my house, the demos at my house, and then went to New Orleans. Actually, the guy that plays in the Molly Ringwalds, he's in that band. Some people may know who they are. I think they're playing the Soul Kitchen next month, but he plays in that band, and he engineered the drums and the vocals. So I went to his studio and worked on that. But I mean, that's pretty much it. Just multi-tracking all the stuff and you know, kind of like our software here. You know,
I was thinking you could do a lot of the recording on your own with one of the digital audio programs available.
Yeah, I have.
I mean, even doing a commercial, I've often used 4 or 5 or 6 tracks, especially if I'm doing some type of a concert or event commercial. Right. So I can only imagine what it would be like to do a music bed.
Even some of your equipment I've seen, you have that Scarlett DI, that direct input. I saw you had a box of one. That's the exact same thing I used to plug in the guitars and the vocals and stuff like that.
That's for my home studio one day.
Yeah, but I actually use that piece of equipment to interface with the workstation here.
Okay.
So anyway.
All right. So what am I clicking on so we can hear something?
You can just. I guess you have to back it up and then turn the volume on. I guess the volume's
all right.
I
see. So the first, when you go to JohnnyJohnMusic.com, and then you click on the little icon that kind of looks like an arrow, and that was the YouTube
icon. The little YouTube icon.
Okay, and then you'll see Shameless.
Right, and that's the track 3 from the EP.
And that's the one that you want us to
hear
at least a portion of. So is this going to rock us out? Is it heavy duty?
Well, yes.
Okay, so keep in mind we're in oldies adult standards, but we all grew up listening to some rock and roll. And here's a little bit of it from our own Johnny Jeremy, WABF. Good morning. Johnny, that's catchy.
All right, thanks.
Wow. I've been in the radio music business 40 years, and before the past 16 in oldies, one of my jobs as a program director or music director was to pick the songs.
Oh, yeah.
Do we play this or not?
Yeah.
You know, the record companies calling and taking you to dinner, wanting you to play their song. I would add that one.
Cool.
Because it's catchy. I can sing along to it. Your vocals are nice. I'd have started the vocals a little bit sooner.
Sure.
I sound like Simon Cowell. Isn't that his name?
That's right.
The guy on TV. But very nice.
Well, thank you.
Very
Thank you very
nice.
much.
Wow. And it's not too rocky.
No, it's a little subdued.
That's an even.
Right.
I mean, you could cross a couple of different formats with that.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, from a pop station to a rock station. I think you could.
Well, I have to tell you, the influence of listening to this radio station over the years. I mean, the pop sensibilities here, from what we hear from the Fleetwood Mac to the Marty Ballin, Jefferson Starship. I love that stuff, and I try to think in those terms sometimes when I'm making when I'm producing a song.
I can't quite put my finger on what it reminded me of, but it's familiar, it's comfortable, and it's easy.
Oh, cool.
I mean, you want to hit record, it's got to be something people are going to catch quickly, you know, and want to sing along to. Very nice.
Well, thank you. Thank you for the compliment.
JohnnyJohnMusic.com, and that song is called Shameless.
That's right.
So what's the next step?
Well, I'm working with a band out of New Orleans, trying to put together some original shows in Mobile and one in New Orleans and maybe one in Destin. Not a big quote-unquote tour, if you will, but just a few shows. And then I'm already working on some more songs for next year. I try to release an EP once a year. That's what my plan is.
Okay. Well, what about trying to get some airplay?
Well,
online now. I mean, I have a friend, Mike Turner, who has done some gospel and country type and folk, and he enters himself to these like online radio stations and various things, and he's getting airplay.
Well, I need to check that out.
So look into that.
Yeah, I need all the help I can get. That's why I'm here.
Well, we might have to play. We might play that. I like that.
All right. Well,
I really
cool.
do. Now, there's got to be more. You said 3-song EP.
That's right. I actually, if you scroll down on the front page of the YouTube channel, there's the 2 EPs there, the 3 songs there, and the 3 songs, the Let There Be Drums and Against Nature. Yeah.
We're going to time out for a second, if you don't mind, because there was an issue westbound Wallace Tunnel.
Okay.
It is now 8:39 and 53 degrees. You're with Lori Dubose as we continue our conversation with Johnny John, who has been a part-time announcer and fill-in worker with us for how many years now? About 4 or 5?
It'll be 5 in March.
You know him as Johnny Jeremy, but he's going through a name change.
Going through an identity crisis.
That's a good way to put it. But he has recorded his own CD. Johnny is a drummer and a musician, and I hope you didn't miss the song that we just played because I like it. I think it could be a hit record. I give it a 9 out of 10.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. And you're asking me what the plan is. Well, I'm open to suggestions.
Well, I would definitely look into that.
All right.
And see about getting on one of those big dog FMs in Mobile.
Okay.
See if anybody there will play it.
All right.
Okay, let's try another cut or another song.
Well, that Gone to Pieces.
Okay.
That's a good track.
Is that from this same
Yes, it is.
CD? Okay. All right, we'll play a glimpse of that and see what we think.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, we have a survey here. Skip ad. All right, here's Johnny John and the Schemin' Dreamers.
surprised when you don't ever come back. Should you be breaking instead of making this world for the taking? Baby, don't you know it's gone to pieces? And baby, do you ever feel the same? Well, baby, don't you know it's gone to pieces? Should anybody care who's the one to blame? Double down, take it like a man. Lay down your life and work the family plan. You lost yourself, you're just another step. Maybe she'll end it on a no-fault bill. Hey, listen, brother, hit the door in a flash. She'll be surprised when you don't ever come back. Should you be breaking instead of making this world for the taking? Baby, don't you know it's gone to pieces? And baby, do you ever feel the same? Baby, don't you know it's gone to pieces? Should anybody care who's the one to blame? Baby, don't you know we've gone to pieces? Baby, don't you know we've gone to pieces? Baby, don't you know we've gone to pieces? Baby, don't you know we've gone to pieces?
Okay, and this is another cut from Johnny John, and you had some backup help with the Schemin' Dreamers here.
Well, that's just I'm the scheme of dreamers. Now the whole thing is that it's kind of like an umbrella term, you know, because I plan on, you know, over the next releases, you know, you bring in other musicians, kind of, you know. Well, the first record had a bunch of different guys in it, you know, a bunch of other guys. This one was all me. The next one will probably have some other dudes, you know, because, you know, there's some instrumentation that's a little beyond me, you know.
Sure.
And when I run into that issue, I'll bring someone else
So
in.
you can leave it open with
Right.
the Schemin' Dreamers. That
Right.
could be anybody.
Could be anybody.
I love
right.
it. I love it.
Yeah, it just comes to, you know, being in a band, my experience is always, well, you know, it works for some people. It doesn't work for a whole lot of other people, you know. So it's just sometimes it takes the pressure off a little bit to make everyone happy if it's just one guy. So you can just hire and fire people. Like Steely Dan, right? Steely Dan, just two guys.
Right.
Bringing in people, you know, all that type of stuff. So anyway.
Speaking of them, I saw them at the Wharf. I guess it's been about 3 years now. The Pay the Rent tour. Because,
Right.
you know, they didn't like to tour and didn't tour much back
Sure.
in the day. But then it's like, holy cow, we're getting old and we're broke. So the Pay the Rent tour.
Well, you know,
and they were awesome.
Well, you know, when Walter Becker died, there was a question as to whether or not Donald Fagen was going to carry on, and he's still touring at Steely Dan, and they asked him why. And he said the reason why is because there's a lot of musicians and people that work in the organization that need a job. Right?
Yeah.
So he does it more for the entourage, the coterie, you know,
I see.
the cadre.
Got it. Okay.
So anyway, there's that. But yeah, pay the rent.
Well, this has been really interesting. Johnny John, what else would you like us to know about recording our own CD?
Well, all I know is that doing it yourself, there's a lot of challenges. I think the biggest challenge, writing and recording, that's one thing. But the promotion aspect of it, the marketing it, that stuff is just a whole nother animal. And I tell you what, it's a tough thing. And I appreciate you allowing me to come in here and talk about it, because, I could always use the help for sure to let people know about it. I mean, if you put all this work into it, you might as well put, your best foot forward and try to, at least push the record a little bit, just don't let it sit there.
Absolutely.
So anyway.
Well, I might have a couple of connections. We'll see what we can do.
All right. Well, I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. And you're actually going to be filling in for me some next week.
That's right.
So,
Tuesday. Starting Tuesday. Right?
Yes. Yep. And so folks will get to hear your voice again and perhaps contact you for more information.
Right.
Meanwhile, your EPs or CDs are available here locally at Dr. Music.
That's right. That's right.
On Section Street. Or I guess you do, or go to your website, johnnyjohnmusic.com.
And there's a store there too. I'll mail it to you. But here locally, the Dr. Music, and actually, hey, I'm thankful they sold out of the Let There Be Drums, the last one.
Oh, awesome!
Which that surprised me.
That's great. That's great.
There was no promotion on that.
keep following your dreams. It is now 8:47, 54 degrees. WABF. Good morning.